Hello everybody, Arx is here with episode 0 of ArxPackTestdrive. And I'm pretty sure most of the people is confused by name of this series. Why episode 0 and what the hell is ArxPack? So don't worry, I explain everything. So first, why episode 0? Because there will be no traditional let's play here, because there is pretty huge pile of things which I need to explain before I start, because it may be a little boring, but believe me, they are important. So yeah, this is why episode 0. And wow, I'm lagging already. That's just great. Well, there's no gameplay, so I probably even don't care, so I will explain everything. Um, yeah, so, what's ArxPack? Does this mean I have my own pack now? Hell yes. So, if you watching Garwolf one day, then you know he actually not recently, not too long, showing this this spotlight on this curse thing, which is kind of like FTB launcher, except you can make your own mod pack. And for me, this is something which I wish so long, and for me this was like dream come true. So I downloaded and I tried and I spent some time to make my own pack, and I choose mod carefully, and yeah, here I am, my own pack. So the pack and name is written like this. Arx. Yeah, exactly like this. Arx pack. So I believe you can find it on Kirsting, but if you wanna try it and play with your own, feel free to do it. But before you do this, there is few things which I need to say, which I need to explain. First and most importantly, unlike FTB or Ticket or some other packs, these packs are professionally made packs, and they are designed the way that don't be laggy and don't crash the game, and they basically professionally make. And well, my pack isn't like this. This is just a bunch of mods which are downloaded and placed in the same file. And yeah, so don't expect things to work exactly perfectly smooth with my pack, and there may be some lags on game crash because mods can sometimes interact each other really weird way, and if you wanna play with, then do this carefully, and back up your save file frequently, because you never know what's may happen here. Wow, this luck is really bad. Let's see if I can do something with this. I probably should restart my game before I play. Damn it, that's really annoying. Um, yeah. So there can be some crashes and some other things. So um, keep this in mind and make you backup, save you make backup of your save file frequently, because you never know what may happen. Another important thing is, I don't know if this is because something wrong with my computer or is a general problem. If you try download the pack and launch it, there's basically crash. And this is one of the mods tell you, I believe it's named Eureka, and I tell you something about two same files, and it may not start the game properly. So I find a way how to fix this. I basically search for the Eureka mod. I believe this is how it's called, and there was basically two packed files which are named exactly like the mod Eureka, and there was Eureka something which looked like a version. There was two files. One of them was, I believe, Eureka something 2.2 something, and the other was 3.0 something, I believe. And I was like, okay, that looks like this is the files, and there was something about duplicate name. So I guess I supposed to remove one of them, but which one? So I was like, okay, the number looks like a version, so I guess higher number mean higher version. And I removed the file 2.2 something, I believe. And as you can see, I'm here, and it's look like it's work. So if you have this problem, follow what I said and you should be fine. At least I think things are fine. Things looks work for now. I don't know what's happening in the future, but right now it's look okay. So this is one thing. Another important thing which I want to mention is this bug is not definite version on the bug. There may be some changes in the future. I may add some mods, I may remove some mods, so keep this in mind as well. Before I show you a list of the mods, there's one mod specifically which I need to mention, and that is it's actually not here. Let me see. There's one mod specifically which need be mentioned, and that is this mod, which is Project E. Project E. If you don't know what Project E is, it's basically a recreation of equivalent exchange for current version of Minecraft. And this mod is pretty ridiculous. It's publicly known being very overpowered, and what this mod basically let you do, as you can see, pretty much all items here have EMC, which is basically price of the items. So you can transform items freely based on this EMC. So if you have, for example, like, I don't know, let's see, let me show you some example. Let's say apple. It has EMC value 100 by 28, which mean you can make this, like, you can use your apple to make two items which value of EMC value is 64 on, or 128 items which value 1. Well, and yeah, it depends on value of items. So you basically can transform them like equally. Sometimes it's not perfectly fitting on items. If you do some math, then you may find there's few things which are not perfectly balanced, and this is basically how this mod work. But what make this mod really broken and really kinda overpowered are these things, energy collectors. So basically what these things do, as I mentioned, you can make transform mods. So I'll give you a quick example of this. I can get this, and this, and this, and how about this? Okay, so if I basically have this thing and place inside, let's say this, and I can basically copy of items. So this have EMC1, and if I place inside something with let's say this thing, why the hell not? So this thing is basically broken on pure EMC, and it's make many of these long until there is EMC. So if I do this, then bam, I have a bunch of EMC. As you can see, I am rapidly making copy of these items. I can do this with any items which have EMC value. And because this has a bunch of EMC, so you can see I make tons of items here. But what makes this mod broken is these things, because what these do, they basically produce pure raw EMC. So if I place this thing, so you can see this basically generate items for free. This first one make 4 EMC per second. That's really isn't too much. But the second one, this thing, make 12. So as you can see, I generate items pretty quickly. And if I make a last version, which is this one, that's like 40 EMC per second, then you can see I create items really quickly. These things are really like expensive. They are really pricey to make, but it's worth it. And the reason why they basically make the game really broken, really game breaking, is you create this, you eventually can reach the point where you have this ridiculous setup which produces tons of EMC, and you use this EMC to make more EMC, to make more energy collectors, and you make more and more, and eventually you are stuck in a situation where you generate tons and tons of EMC for free, and you basically do nothing but producing like tons of EMC, and you can reach the point where you basically have nothing but this stuff, and you created some ridiculous quantum of EMC, and it can basically ruin your gaming experience. So if you don't want to mess with this mod, I recommend use this mod wisely, because it can totally break your game. Or you can do what I would decide to do. I basically decide to use this feature only for purpose of making energy for machines, which I think it's still a little game breaking, but it's not close to like ridiculous. And well, I can show how crazy this mod can be eventually, like before I decide to stop the series, to show you how crazy this mod can be. You can reach the really crazy situation where basically your entire base can be made from block of diamond, and I'm not even kidding. So yeah, it's really broken. So let me repeat myself again and say, use this mod wisely, because it can be really crazy. So that is this thing. So now is the time to show you what kind of mods are here, because I pick most of the mods with my own, and there's few mods which are here because they were required by some other mods, but most of the mods here is because I choose them. So yeah, I pick them because I think they are awesome. So let's do some quick introduction of mods. Well, you can obviously see I have mob here, which is good. And obviously I have few other things. And few of them are not visible, I believe. I don't think so. So we have another one, the Bite the Dust, which adding some new dust for, I believe, few things which normally have no dust version, and I believe it's work with some other mods as well. So yeah, this is basically what this mod do. So that's interesting. I don't know what this is. I believe it's one of those support mods. There's Bubbles. There's some add-on for Bubbles, which is add-on for Timecraft, which is here. Of course, we have a Buildcraft and all kinds of things for Buildcraft. So that's really good. There is this mod, which I believe is one of those mods which are required some other mods, or maybe it's some I'm not sure. There is Botany, which again it's one of those support mods, I believe. I'm not sure. But yeah, of course we have Buildcraft, and we have Buildcraft additional object, which originally it's just a few pipes, but as you can see there is some new stuff, and I don't even know what with some mods what exactly they are. So yeah, there's definitely some interesting options here. There is Chisels too, which I believe is improved version of Chisels, which can make things nice. There's Chocolate West. I have no idea what this is, but it looks like some adventure mode, which is interesting. I have Dense Ore, obviously that was before. I have Enchanting Plus, which make enchanting much more easier. I really like this mod. It's maybe a little overpowered, but I don't think it's more overpowered than other stuff. So yeah, there's Ender.io as equivalent exchange free. So it's basically equivalent exchange 2 and equivalent exchange free same time. So I hope this don't cause any problems, and I may eventually remove one of those mods. If they work both the same time, then I can keep both, but I don't know. There's Eureka, which is mod which I mentioned before, and I believe it's one of those mods which is here because it's required some other mods. That is X91 mod, which is really important for kind of Skyblocks map or similar, because you can basically get any initial resources with in a Skyblock types map, which I may do in some legitimate mod. It is, I think, also a little overpowered, but it's a really interesting mod, especially if you play Skyblock type maps, which provide some interesting option, and it is really good because equivalent exchange 2 using basically only vanilla resources, which with combination with this mod can do some really crazy stuff. So yeah, we have some obviously extra this, extra trees, extra utilities, extra Tinker Control, which provides some more stuff, more materials which can be used by Tinker's Construct, and provide some big selection of things for Tinker's Construct. So that's definitely interesting. There's Flood Sand, Forbidden Magic, which I believe is add-on for Towncraft. So let me do this. Forbidden Magic. Yes, of course we have Forester, Ganesh Nether, which is interesting more, which provides some interesting options here. I basically give this specifically because this one item which basically allow you pretty much recycle pretty much everything and turn it in a lava, which I think is interesting option. We have Gendustry, we have Gendix, which I believe is add-on for bees. We have, of course, Iron Chest, classic mod, Better Barrels, of course. And we have extra this. We have this thing, and I have no idea what this is. We have Metallurgy 4. We have Metallurgy Core. Battle Gear Bullseye. I believe this is one of those mods which was required some other mods, so it is here for purpose of stability, but I think it can add few interesting things. I don't know. Of course, we have a vanilla, we have Mind Factory Reloaded, we have more chisels, which I guess it's useful because I guess Chisel 2 may probably have some a little more advanced stuff. We have Mistcraft, we have Nether Ores, obviously. We have Noodle Mechanic, which I believe it's an add-on for Timecraft. It's basically supposed to make me make my own more notes, our notes, which I think it's really interesting option here. I really like it. So that's definitely like really interesting thing. And yeah, that looks like interesting. We have obsidian plate, we have open blocks, we have power converts, we have project E, which I mentioned before. We have quantum flux. I believe this is add-on for thermal expansion, which adding some stuff which allow me to some advanced stuff with the flux, like sending for wirelessly in RF wirelessly, I think. So yeah, we have railcraft, we have of course redstone arsenal, rotten flesh to leather, which is kind of self-explaining. Runic dungeon, which I using over recently, which will allow me use some nice loot here, which is kind of cool. So I can get some free stuff here when I be ready. Obviously, we have solar expansion, which adding some advanced solar generators, which generate some um, extra AMs, I mean redstone flux, and they have EMC, so I can make them really easily. So that's definitely interesting. We have, of course, Towncraft, which I mentioned before, some Taumic add-ons here, Taumic expansion, which I'm really not sure what this is do, but whatever. We have Taumic Tinker, Thermal Dynamics, which is add-on for thermal expansion, of course, thermal expansion itself. I make thermal foundation. And this is actually interesting thing. Thermal smelter. This mode basically let me use thermal expansion like operate with like Tinker's construct using thermal expansion to support Tinker construct, and basically I can use my thermal expansion to replace some things, and it's really cool, especially because I can do some really interesting option here, which really I like it. I really don't play with this mode much, but it's interesting and it's let me do some interesting things. On of course Tinker construct. I mentioned this before. Tinker defense, which is interesting. This is supposed to use me basically armor for Tinker's construct, which I think is something which I miss really a lot with Tinker's construct. Of course, we have Tinker's Mechan Works, which is also part of the Tinker's construct, and we have a Warp Book, which basically let me do some custom teleports, and it looks really freaking awesome. It is a little OP because the recipe seems to be really cheap here, maybe too cheap, but it provides some advanced functionality, and I think this is really cool. It's probably need to be a little balanced, but yeah, I really like this mod. I wish this be a little more expand, because if you see like with EMC, this thing is really cheap, like maybe too cheap. So yeah, so that's basically a list of my mods in my mod pack, which is basically complete introduction with my mod. So I believe there is some other mods which may not be here. I can see some floating structure here. I think I have actually a better dungeon mod, which is not in list because it's using only vanilla items, so it's really not in mod pack. But I think there is some floating structure here, And I think this is very first time where I have actually mushroom biomes over there. I'm not sure. Anyway, let me show you this island here, which let me see. Switch in the day. So yeah, and in normal circumstances, I'd be really disappointed such a starting location like this. But with X-Nilo mods, which really is not big deal. I have everything which I may need for start, and having this nice small islands provide some privacy, and it is interesting mod, interesting place to start. Like I said, with the X-Nilo is really no big deal because yeah, I can produce everything which I need and I want, and some resources I can do like really early. So there's definitely some interesting options. And if I go down, wow, that really isn't too much things to see. Huh. Well, I guess I can go down and normally digging. There is some this thing, which is for Timecraft. I have pretty much everything which I need for start the game. So I'm really excited for this. There is some really interesting things, and yeah. Oh yes, there's one last thing which I wanna mention, and that's a name why this is called not normal let's play, but the test drive. Because, like I said, this mod pack may not work perfectly. So this let's play is basically test play instead of let's play. So I want to do this to test how well this work, if there is some crashes or something. This is purpose of this. So this is everything which need to be said about episode 0 of this mod pack. So I believe I explained everything which is necessary. I may forget something. If I forget something and I remember, then I mention this later. But yeah, I think I said everything which is necessary. So for now, I'm done. And in the next episode, there will be some actual legitimate episode 1 when I start some testing. And yeah, I don't know how long this series may be. I mean, this is testing after all. Kind of like if you watch Darewolf, then this is kind of like my own Fortcraft, pretty much. So I need to know if there be some bugs and test how stable this thing is, and yeah. So this is pretty much test, and if everything works smoothly and there will be no crashes and nothing, then I can do some actual let's play. Maybe I can try how well Xnilo work with Skyblock, and I can do kind of Skyblock reloaded on. Maybe I can try something kind of like my previous let's play, because this time I have more options here. Yeah, I like sky is the limit here. So after I finish the testing, then I will see how well things go and do some legitimate let's play, and maybe try something a little more challenging. I don't know. There's multiple options here. But yeah, it was a pain explain everything, and I believe I didn't forget anything important. So yeah, this is end of episode 0, and in next episode I will start and do some actual stuff, and we will explore this pack, and I wanna learn much as possibly about this pack, at least try find out what this pack is about and which mods have some use, which not, and I will see what everything I can do. Maybe in a like really last part of the let's play, I may like use full scale of Project E and show you how ridiculous this mod can be. This is something which I probably do in like early end part, otherwise this may like break this experience completely. And or maybe I can like switch in the creative and speed up things. I don't know. I didn't make a decision, and yeah. So that's everything for now, and I'm really excited for this. I wait for something like this really long time. But in next episode there will be some actual play. But for now, as always, thanks for your time. I hope this wasn't too boring, but yeah. So I will see you later, and thanks for your time, and yeah, that's it. So next time we start officially with episode 1 of ArxPack Test Drive. Heck yes.